Today we're going to look at part of the SE 2.10c. Solve one-step word problems involving addition or subtraction using data represented within bar graphs with intervals of 1. Let's review a bar graph. A bar graph will always have a title, will have a label at the bottom that represents what is being collected, and then a label on the side that represents our intervals, how much of something is being collected. Each bar represents an endpoint as how much of something is being collected. You would look at the very top of the bar, follow the line over, and that tells you how much of something is being collected. This graph below shows a total number of votes students made over their favorite school subject. So to title this bar graph, they labeled it Favorite Subject. One of the labels is subjects. What are the subjects that are being voted on? History, math, spelling, English. On the side, they tell you what the intervals represent, number of votes. Now that we know what this bar graph represents, let's go ahead and answer some questions. I would read above the bar graph. The graph below shows a total number of votes students made over their favorite school subject. I know the title is Favorite Subject, so I'm looking at the right bar graph. My subjects that are being voted on is history, math, spelling, and English. The number of votes is my intervals, and it's showing me that my intervals are counting by 1. Before I can answer a question, I need to go ahead and label my bar graphs. I need to find my endpoints. Again, my endpoints are at the end of my bars. For history, I see that my bar ends at 4. So 4 votes were made for history. 3 votes were made for math. 8 votes were made for spelling, and 5 votes were made for English. Now I am ready to answer my question. How many students voted for history and English? My question is asking me for both votes on history and English together. So I know that I'm going to look for 4 history and 5 English. 4 plus 5 equals 9. So I know that there were 9 students who voted for English and history. Let's look at another problem. Again, the graph below shows a total number of votes students made over their favorite school subject. The title of my graph is Favorite Subject, so I know I'm looking at the right bar graph. My subjects that are being voted on is history, math, spelling, and English. The number of votes has the same intervals of 1. Before I can answer a question or read a question, I need to label my bar graph by finding the endpoints. History has 4, math has 3 votes, spelling has 8 votes, and English has 5. Now that my bar graph is labeled, I can now answer my question. How many more students voted for spelling than math? So I am looking to see how many more students voted for spelling than math. So I'm looking for the difference. So I know I have more spelling than I have math. So what's the difference? So I know I have 8 spelling and I have 3 math. So I'm going to do 8 minus 3 is going to give me my vote of how many more students voted for spelling than math. 8 minus 3 equals 5. So I know 5 more students voted for spelling than math.